All right. Welcome, Preeti. Amazing. Another Calgarian. Well, yeah, Krista and I are in Calgary. Will the recording be shared? Absolutely. Yes. After this, we will send out a recording with all the goodies. So you can take out your notes and take out a pen and paper and take notes. Highly recommend doing that, but also we will send out a recording so you can have some of this to refer back to after. Okay. All right. Took a drink of water. I'm feeling totally ready to go. Yes, looks good. Amazing. Thank you. Okay, so welcome to the 3 steps to land your first product job without tech experience webinar. So this webinar is in partnership with S.A.S and the Applied Product Management Program that Krista and I at Tassa Edge run in partnership with S.A.S to do exactly this, help you get your first product management job. And over the next 60 minutes, we'll be talking about exactly that. You'll get at the end the pathway to your first product job. You'll also get new hope and excitement about the journey, because I know sometimes it can feel lonely. We've all been there. And I'm here to tell you that you do not have to feel lonely. We're all in this together, and it is a really exciting journey. You're also going to leave with the 3 secrets to building your brand and breaking in. And at the end, if it's okay with everybody, we have a special promotion related to the S.A.S Applied Product Management Program, where you'll get some additional bonuses if you decide to go sign up for that. How does that sound? Does that sound good? Good to people? Feel free to sound off in the chat if it sounds good. Awesome. Thumbs up. Thank you. Yep. Awesome. Wonderful. Excellent. All right, folks. Well, let's dig right in. Raise your hand or comment in the chat if you're currently struggling to find your first product management job, or if you have struggled. I know I have. I'm raising my hand. Comment in here if you're, yeah. I mean, yeah. Ugh. Anyone else? Yes. Yeah. Haven't tried. Yeah, not yet. Hoping to avoid the struggle. Yes. Yes. We're really hoping you can avoid the struggle as well. Because it can be a struggle, and it's not your fault. That's what I want to say first off. If you're feeling like, oh, this is so hard, or like I'm really afraid of how this might go, or I'm afraid to start because of the potential struggle, it's not your fault. The industry is almost designed to be confusing. There isn't standardized education. There's no clear pathway into it. And it's just, there's tons of misinformation out there as well. So if you're feeling like, oh my gosh, this is like not happening, I just am here to tell you that it's not your fault, and it will happen. Okay. So I know you might be thinking, oh, I will never land this job. Yeah. Who's thinking this? Yeah, I've heard conflicting views. People need MBAs or CS background for product. Yes, gatekeeping. Yes, there is a lot of gatekeeping in this industry. Yeah. So if you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm never going to land this job, I am here to tell you that you can and you will. Okay, you absolutely will. You just need the right steps and the right people to guide you and give you the path. You don't need a master's degree. You don't need prior experience. You don't need a technical background. I know it seems like the industry is down in terms of hiring, which it is in some locations, but we still have students getting jobs just like before. So I'm here to tell you that you can and you will succeed. But before we dig into how we're going to do that, and I'll tell you exactly how, tell you a little bit about Krista and I. So we're with Tacit Edge Product Leadership. We have decades of experience in product management and technology. Sometimes we don't want to admit how many decades of experience, but we've been in this game a while. We originally met at Benevity, where we helped turn that company into $1 billion unicorn as part of the product team. We have worked with all the major Fortune 500 and tech companies around the world. Krista is a former VP of product at Morgan Stanley. We're now partners of State and advocates for DEI and product management. And we are also certified coaches. And we have the pleasure of having worked with leading companies and helped students land jobs in these incredible companies around the world. But we weren't always in this position. Not long ago, I was in exactly the same position as you all. I was just like you. I had no technical background, no computer science degree, no master's degree. And I was actually a marketer. So I started my career in marketing. I started in nonprofit. I worked for the Children's Cottage and the Jazz Festival. And then I decided to do something crazy and move to Germany. Here I am. This is my younger self back in Germany with my marketing team there. And I did love my team and I loved moving to Germany, but I realized that marketing wasn't really for me. It was a great job. It really felt like something was kind of missing. The pay was low. I never felt like I could make a really big impact. I wanted to experiment more and solve problems with people and not just talk about the people who are solving problems. That's what I felt like. I felt like I wasn't actually doing any of the cool stuff. I was just talking about the people that were doing the cool things. So I really felt stuck. I just felt this like really unfulfilled feeling. And I didn't know why. I was like, this job is good, but it's just not quite right. So I'm sure some of you are feeling that right now. Maybe in the chat, who is feeling that? Say yes if you're feeling that right now in your current role. Yes, big yes. Yes. We've all been there. Where you're just feeling like this isn't quite right. What is wrong? Yes. So when I was in Germany, I actually became friends with someone who's a product manager. And they were telling me all about their work. And Germany is a big tech scene. You know, I was from Calgary. So we didn't have a huge tech scene at the time. And met this person was like, product manager, what is that? And they told me more about their work. And it just sounded amazing. So they had a really good salary. It was really well paid. They're very respected. They could make a difference, like really build products that with teams that solve problems for people. And it sounded like they were just building cool stuff with cool people all day. And when I compared that to myself, I was like, just not paid well. I felt like I wasn't respected. I felt very little control over my day to day. And I felt really unfulfilled, and I felt just like an outsider, like outside of technology. So even though I was in this city that was full of technology, I felt really like an outsider. But I thought, maybe this is what I could do. It felt like finally something that looked like fit my personality and what I wanted to do. So I decided, this is what I want to do. I want to try getting into product. And I tried everything that I could at the time. I looked into education, and there's almost nothing except for MBAs, as was mentioned before. Tried looking at job postings, all asked for computer science degrees. I tried online learning, which is all really different and confusing. I looked into, project management was confusing, or product ownership. I had no idea where to start and what to do. It was so confusing. Is anyone feeling like that right now? Super confused about where to start? Yes. Yes. Project managers. Yes, of course. Yes. It's so frustrating. I know we have all been there. So I just started to just get really defeated. Like, I was like, how do you even do this? Like my product manager friend, he had a software degree. So I was like, have a software degree. Am I going to be able to do this? So I kind of was just like, oh, maybe I'll just wait. But then something happened where I had to make a choice. So that's a picture of my husband and I, it's us in Germany. Um, at one point, we were there, we were really wanting to make it work. I had a job, my husband didn't. And after a while, like we had been there for over a year and he just wasn't finding a job. He's an engineer and all the engineering was in German and he learned German, but they still weren't hiring him. So it just got to a point where we're like, okay, either we stay in Germany or we have to go home and do something else. And we decided that it was time to go home. So at that point, I knew I had to leave my job. And I had to do something different. So I thought, okay, I am going to really try when I move home and find that product management job. But again, it was a struggle. So I was furiously applying to jobs and I just wasn't getting calls back. I looked into education. It was like 2-year degrees, $40,000. I did not have the time or money to do that. Every single job seemed to ask for 3 to 5 years of experience, even if it was a junior role. And I just started to feel like insane imposter syndrome. It was like, yeah, 60,000 for an MBA. Yeah. And oh my gosh, I felt so defeated. I felt like I don't belong here. I'm a complete imposter. What am I thinking? Yeah, 43. Yes, 43,000. That's pretty typical. So yeah, I thought, this is not going to work. But then I talked to that friend of mine, that product manager friend of mine. I told him the struggle that I was having and just like how defeated I was feeling. And he said something that completely changed my life. And I hope this will also change your lives. And he said, you already have the skills. You've already done at some aspect in your life everything that's needed to be a successful product manager. So think about your role as a marketer. Great product managers ask questions. They think critically. They work to understand problems. They work to understand users. They talk to people. They empathize with people. They work with teams to make things happen. He's like, did you do any of this when you were a marketer? I was like, yes, that's my job every single day. So he's like, okay, well, you already are a product manager. So you just need to show it. And this completely changed how I looked at myself. I was looking at myself as such an outsider. And then I realized like, no, I actually belong here. Most of what makes successful product managers, we already have, and we just need to show it. So I started looking at my experience really differently. I started writing my resume differently. I made a portfolio of the different marketing campaigns I had done, because marketing campaigns are kind of like products. So I almost like just acted like I was a product manager. And then I started, reading more about the fundamentals of product management too, not all the thousands of frameworks that come out. I started really thinking, well, what is the fundamentals? My friend helped me discover what those fundamentals are. And I was able to start really looking at my work as if I was a product manager. I started writing a blog and treated that as a product. I created my portfolio. And then I started, applying to jobs with this new confidence and this new outlook. And I even got an interview. So it was the first time I got an interview and I was like over the moon. I was so excited. It's like, okay, this is it. This is how to do it. I'm already a product manager. This is the secret. But then my worst fear happened. And when I was on the call with a recruiter, they told me I wasn't technical enough and they wanted someone with more experience. So as you can imagine, I was completely heartbroken. I thought, again, I really need to give up. Like, this is just not working. I'm not cut out for this. And I was just like so depressed for a couple days. And I was starting to like, okay, I'm just going to apply for other marketing roles. I'm going to like maybe look at other schooling. I don't know what to do. But then a couple days later, I got a call, and the hiring manager for that role said, hey, we saw your portfolio. We know the recruiter said you don't have enough technical expertise, but I actually disagree. I think your background would fit really well, and we want to take you on as a product manager. So that was like absolutely incredible. I realized like that method I was using where I realized, no, I am a product manager. And if I'm solving problems, I'm a product manager. It did work. It did work in the end. So many of you are already doing the work that you need to be great in product management. And I hope my story kind of tells you a little bit of the pathway to get there. And it's a pathway that, looking back, all of our students have followed a really similar pathway, and we're calling it the S.A.S method. So what is the S.A.S method? It's a method of getting the role that you deserve in product management. So when I look back at what I did to get the job, I learned the skills that I didn't have. I realized that most of the skills I already had, so I was able to align what I had already been doing to those skills. And then I showed it off. And I was able to land that first job so much faster and cheaper than spending 2 years and up to $60,000 on a master's program. And that's what we're going to be talking about here. I know you might be wondering, like, does this work for me? You have a marketing background. Is that more related? It works for anyone because we all have different backgrounds and experiences and solving problems. Lawyers, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. It works for lawyers. Even lawyers, law tech, exactly. Technology exists in every single industry. So your background is a huge asset. We have seen people transition from gymnastics coach from petroleum engineer, furniture salespeople, interior designers, artists, rig workers, geologists. We've seen doctors, lawyers. We've seen people transition out of their roles and into product management. And oh yes, legal technologies. Yeah, you'd be surprised. With it's really opened up, and there's a lot of roles in Alberta as well. Yeah, I'm just reading the chat here. There's a lot of product roles in Alberta. Okay. All right. So it isn't, yeah, so it really is for anyone, as long as you're able to really hone in on what makes you exceptional and apply that to the role. Okay. So in the end, this was the best move I ever made. I loved my job. I was able to work with incredible people. I worked with incredible brands around the world. We generated millions and billions of dollars for charity where I was working. I was able to get a higher salary. I felt way more respected. And now that transition laid the foundation for me to be able to be here with you all and helping you find the careers that you deserve. Because I want to help you do the same that I did and that Krista did as well, and hundreds of other people we've worked with. Okay, so how are we doing this? Now, let's dig into the S.A.S method and the 3 secrets to land your first product management job. So it's all around, again, skills, align, show. Skill, align, show. So we're going to dig into each one of these secrets. And if you follow these secrets, it can take as little as 12 weeks to find your first job. Actually, we've had people take the class and find their first product management job within a month or 2. So let's dig deeper into this. And what I'm going to do is actually focus on the first secret, or on the second secret, align, because I think this is the most important secret. So let's do that first. Secret number 1, how to create your own experience, even if you aren't technical. Okay. How many people are experiencing this cycle of doom? You need experience to get the job, but you need the job to get the experience. Yes. Chicken and egg. Yes. I see Chip is experiencing it. Aruj, Annie, Dylan. Yes, the cycle never ends. It's so frustrating, but it will end now. Okay. This is how we are going to be helping with this. So I know it's super frustrating. I've seen these job listings and students come to us. They're like, I want to apply this job. It's a junior role and it asks for 2 to 3 years experience. How is that possible? Or, it's just all this craziness. But let me tell you that you already have the experience. If you go through your past, what you've done in previous work or in previous education, you probably already have 1 to 5 years of relevant experience and you just don't know it. The reason for this is that the product management role, the skills and the problems that we solve exist in every industry, just not every industry is calling it a product manager. Okay. Here's an example of someone who did exactly this. So this is Curtis who took our class, and he was wanting to pivot into product management from geology. And he really felt like, okay, geologist in oil and gas, this is not relevant to technology and it's not relevant to product management. And he was feeling really defeated. He was looking for months and just wasn't getting calls back again and was feeling like, is this ever going to happen? Well, what he did is he talked to a friend of his who was a product manager as well and said, well, wait a minute. Well, what do you do as a geologist? He realized that his skills were essentially the same as any product management skill. So he, as a geologist, he was making decisions around which areas should be explored for new oil and gas wells, very similar to how a product manager would analyze the market to discover new product opportunities. He worked with fuzzy data to make decisions. He aligned people to move towards a goal. He was constantly testing to minimize risk in development of new oil and gas products. So he realized he was a product manager. And with this experience, when he had that shift, realized, oh my gosh, I am one. I just need to look at myself a different way. And he did, and he was able to land a job in technology. So for you, you can do the same thing. So ask yourself, have you persevered through uncertainty? Have you ever been asked to do something in the workplace that didn't make sense? So you paused to investigate the why behind the ask. Have you ever found a problem that you were unfamiliar with and solved it? Have you ever started a small business on the side? If you've answered yes to any of these questions, you very likely have what it takes to be a product manager. Okay. And yes, and we will be sharing some information in this around the skills that you need to focus on. Okay. So, and we saw this happen for Tammy. She did exactly this as well. She looked at herself differently. She applied for a role, and she says here, I was shocked. I didn't expect to get it, but I knew that my instructors referred me. This was a role that we said, Tammy, you're perfect for. She didn't believe it, but then she got it. So this can happen to you as well. Okay. So main takeaway, you are already a product manager. Okay. Now let's talk about skills. Okay, so we realized probably 80% of what we need to be a great product manager, we already have. But what about that 20%, the stuff that we don't know? How do we learn these skills on our way to our first job? Well, Here's the next secret. Skills, all around skills. So how to learn on the job without spending thousands of dollars and wasting years of your life. Okay, so product management education is expensive. We had folks in the chat saying, yeah, $40,000, $60,000 for product management education. So I should actually change this to up to $60,000. It goes anywhere from $7,000 for just a week-long theory course, which product management is not theory. Product management is a practice. You need to do product management to understand it, all the way up to $40,000 for a 1 or 2 years master's degree. That is insane, and you don't need to do that. Okay. And who's feeling totally overwhelmed there by the education? Yeah, and some of the more affordable ones per school, but it's still crazy. Absolutely. Yeah. And completely overwhelmed. Yes, I was too. It's a new role, so there's not a lot of great education out there. And when you try to look for education, yeah, and also there's so many different things. Yes, so hard to weed through what's reputable and what's not. Because I can tell you, if it's not applied, it's going to be really hard to do this job. And I hear you. So we just did it like a search, product management definition. There are literally thousands of product management definitions, and they're all different. And I think this is really designed to keep people out. Again, this role is highly gate kept, and people will say, no, our framework is the one. No, this is the one you need to use. But I'm going to tell you the truth right here. No one has all of the answers. How many people have tried like a new framework that you've heard of and you're like, this didn't work for me at all? I know I have. So if you've experienced that, product management, it can't be done with frameworks. Every product is different. Every user is different. Every industry is different. If you try to learn absolutely everything out there, you would never finish. So instead, we want to focus on how to learn and the principles and the fundamentals of product management. And now maybe take a screenshot here. I'm going to tell you the absolute fundamentals to focus on. Okay, these are the fundamentals. These are the 3 things that you can learn to learn everything you need to start your first product management job. The fundamentals are design thinking. So design thinking is the process of learning about our user, defining the problem, empathizing with them, and doing experiments to find ways to solve their problems. That's number 1. Number 2, vision and strategy. How to create a vision for the product and what the world will be like when we solve the problem that product is intended to solve. And finally, measuring for success. How do we measure if we're on the way to that vision and strategy? Okay, now there's tons of other stuff in product management. I know tons of tools, tons of frameworks, this or that. But if you focus on these 3 fundamentals, that will give you what you need to hit the ground running with your product management job. So the question is, would you rather wait 2 years to develop these skills, take a class, or start now? And how to start now? You can start practicing these 3 fundamental skills in your current role or through projects with other people. So we had one student who did this. She was a customer success representative at a company. And after she started taking our course, she realized that all the skills, these fundamental skills she was learning, again, design thinking, vision and strategy, and measuring for success, were completely relevant for the job that she was doing right now around customer success. So she used research skills to dig deeper into user problems. She defined a vision for the user experience she wanted to create when people reached out to her. She found better metrics to define success. So she was using these fundamental skills in the real world, and this absolutely bolstered her confidence. And again, she knew, hey, not only do I already have a lot of the skills of product management, but I can also learn them. And if you feel like you can't do this on the job, you can also do it through a project. So finding someone to partner with and solve a problem. This is what Alejandro did. He also took our class. He was an engineer. He started using these practices in his work, and he, through the program, worked on a project with a real company and a cross-functional team, and they solved a real problem together using those fundamental skills. From that, he got a portfolio, and he was able to land a job as a product manager at Crocs Analytics. And he did that within, I think it was 3 months. Okay, now let's talk about the last secret show. So once you have aligned your skills, you've learned the skills and practiced the skills you don't have, how do you show it off? So this one is called the trick to stand out even against hundreds of applicants. All right, so again, sound off in the chat. Are you sick of applying for jobs? Yes, yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, +1 to applying to jobs. Yes. Yes, and absolutely, portfolios are so important. So that's what we're going to be talking about a bit here. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we're all totally sick. Absolutely. And who here is like worried about, I know we saw this at the beginning, who's worried about the economy right now? Yeah. Yes, I know. It is frustrating hearing all these scary stories. Yeah, especially with all these layoffs. So I just want to put these worries to rest, okay? So we are still seeing people get jobs. We have a 72% hire rate. We've had that before the layoffs, and we still see that now. It just takes people a little bit longer. That's it. So I just want to put those worries to bed because they're way overblown. Because what's happening is, although maybe tech isn't hiring as much, all of these traditional industries that need technology, who have been trying to get tech workers for years, can now actually hire them. So people are getting hired in different industries. And also here in Canada, our economy, our tech economy is a little bit less mature. We're a little bit newer. So we still have a lot of companies that are scaling up. So it's not as bad as you think. Okay. So people are getting jobs every single day. And now, so back to that applying to jobs. It is very, I start to tell people like, okay, applying to jobs is good, but you need to do it a different way. You need to stand out. And we always hear, but what about the applicant tracking system? This is always what we hear. So when we see recommendations, people on how to design resumes, it's like, oh, here's how you perfectly design a resume to get past the applicant tracking system. But this is what happens when we all follow that same advice. We all look the same. Okay, we're all using the same playbook. And getting a job, especially in product management, is about standing out. Think about it. They're hiring you to sell products. If you can't sell yourself and your unique skills and abilities, how are you expected to sell their product? That's what they're looking for. So here's just some stats. I'm sure you'll have seen it. So 70% of jobs are not published online. There were 41% of hires that found jobs through job boards, so definitely still apply, but 80% of jobs are filled through loose connections. So why design for the ATS? the end of the day, it's humans that are making the decisions about who to hire, and they want the people who stand out and who are credible. That's it. We want to be credible. So let's take a little experiment. Like, let's look at my resume on the right here and portfolio versus a resume on the left. Okay. Who, just at a glance, pretend you're a hiring manager. Yeah. Who would you hire? Right one. Yep. Which one would pass an ATS? The left one. Yes. But I can tell you, you need to stand out. Okay. Who are you going to trust? Someone who says they can do something, or someone who shows that you can do something? That's instant credibility. Okay. So show, don't tell your skills. I have another story around this where one of our students learned this. She was applying to hundreds of jobs and wasn't hearing anything back, was getting so frustrated and completely defeated. Then she talked to a recruiter friend of hers who told her, like, look, we're looking at resumes so quickly, we're often just looking for who stands out. So whether it's resume, LinkedIn, from a recommendation, they just want to know you're credible. So when she learned this, she thought, okay, how do I do something differently? I'm just using these same resumes. Maybe I can jazz it up a bit. So she started to make a portfolio. She made a blog where she was documenting kind of her job search. She started talking about product management practices and what she was learning. And she was mostly just like documenting her journey of learning product management. She had started posting on LinkedIn. And when she started doing this, she built this up over like a couple days. And when she went to apply for her next job, a recruiter reached out to her first, and she got a job. So, and that was also with help. She was working with state career services, and they had exclusive contacts with people who were hiring, and she was able to get a job because she just looked so much more credible. So this is what we want to do for you, okay? Because it turns, please hire me, into, this is who I am, this is why I'm special, how can I help you? So that's a very different conversation. It turns the power so that you're equal, okay? And here are some other people who've done the same thing. So Maya on the left here, she was a doctor and moved to Canada and couldn't practice medicine anymore. But she realized she had a special skill. She is a doctor and she wanted to work in health tech. She was perfect for it. So she started speaking on podcasts. She worked on her LinkedIn. She made a portfolio, talked about her incredible experience, and now she's a product manager at Deloitte. We also see Madhvi on the right. So she wanted to become a product manager, but also had a startup in India where she was from. And she started talking about this experience and getting connected with folks around or in Canada. And she was able to get $2.5 million in funding for her startup because she was showing what she could do. Okay. So important. And then how to create and host portfolios can be anything. Spend an afternoon. It can be a Squarespace, Wix, GitHub, whatever. Just have a portfolio. That's the most important thing. And it doesn't have to be complex. It can just be screenshots of your work and a little blurb. That's it. Don't need to overcomplicate it. Okay, so that's it. So that is a deeper dive on the S.A.S method. We know that this is the easiest and fastest way to land your first product job. We've helped hundreds of people with this method. And so reminder, you already have years of product experience and you can get paid or use projects to learn the skills you don't. And then you can show it off. These are the 3 secrets. Okay. We know that this works and we know we can get it working for you. So I do want to ask, Who's feeling more hopeful and excited? I hope this helps. Who's feeling like they have a bit more clarity now? For sure. Absolutely. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to hear that. For sure. Amazing. And who's feeling a little bit overwhelmed? I know this was a lot too, so no shame. I know I would be feeling overwhelmed. Who's feeling a little bit overwhelmed by all the information and how to make this happen? Oh, maybe not. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Amazing. Okay, so and we'll get to your questions maybe a little bit later, okay? Okay. Okay, lots of questions. So let's just save some time then. Oh, so how do you create portfolio when you don't have examples of previous work projects? Work on projects with friends. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you didn't. That's okay, Dylan, if you can kind of recreate them. Yeah. Okay. So lots of questions, which is amazing. So that means you're really grasping this and excited and ready to take the next steps, which is amazing. That's what we love to see. So if it's okay with you all, what we're going to do is talk about the State Applied Product Management course and tell you a little bit about how this program helps you follow the S.A.S method to get your own your first product management job. Is that okay with folks if I go through and talk a little bit about the course? Yes, okay, amazing. Thanks, James. Yes, amazing. And yes, we have seen bilingual product management roles for sure. Yep, it's a huge asset to have another language. Awesome. Okay, folks. Let's dig into this to the course itself and how it follows the S.A.S method to help you get a job. Okay, so this is screenshot of all the amazing things within the State Applied Product Management program. It's been running for over 2 years, and it is a complete game changer. We know that you get jobs by learning the fundamentals, aligning what you already know, and then showing it off through projects or on the workplace. So we've designed a program to do exactly this for you. So first, what you get is the online course. So the course is 12 weeks. The first 6 weeks is the theory portion where you come up with a product idea yourself, almost like an entrepreneur, which entrepreneurship is very similar to product management, and you learn all of the fundamentals of product management. So you'll see all the stuff that we mentioned and a little bit more. So the 4 competencies, how products are made, design thinking, product mindset, measuring for success, vision strategy. We learn about branding for yourself as well. That's all within the first 6 weeks. And this is someone who Becca took the class, and actually Becca's a lawyer, former lawyer. So she said, "Oh my gosh, finally I have clarity and all these concepts." She had been researching product management and finally had it all in one place. So that is included in the program, and you can have that for life. It's like having a product expert in your pocket. Next, you also get your first product management job. Okay, so remember the skill part of the S.A.S method, we say you need to practice the skills to hone them. In the program, the second 6 weeks, you get paired with UX students or dev students and a real company with a real product problem for you to solve. Now, you can put this on your resume and you essentially get your first job in the course. So those people are like, "Oh my gosh, I need 5 to 10 years experience," or, recruiters who are afraid of taking a risk on someone who hasn't done it before. No worries. If you take the class, you will have already done it. And this helped these 2 folks, Debbie and Caitlin, get promotions and new jobs in product management. The highly interactive environment was incredibly important to that. So that's included in the program. We also have the only templates you'll ever need. So after, again, our decades in product management, like we said, there's thousands of frameworks out there. Which one do you choose? We have all the templates and frameworks that you will ever need to start your job and move through product management. So nothing you don't need, only the stuff that works. And these templates are tested around the world in every industry, and they work in every industry, any product team. This is an example of someone who used this. So one of our students, she used it all the time in her role, and she's now a leader in product management, and she's still using the templates. So that is included. We also know that when you're getting your first role, it can feel lonely. We talked about that. It can feel disheartening. And we bring communities to you so you can get the support you need and the network you need to get that next job. So not only do you join our community and the SAIT community, you join the Careers in Technology and Innovation, TOAST, which helps women land jobs in tech. Product Calgary and Alberta Innovates is here supporting the program. So this is also included. And something that is incredibly special about this program is there's 7 hours a week of coaching and mentorship from product experts like me, Krista, and Oliver Hankinson, who's our principal product manager. She is incredible. So on Thursdays, our Tuesday, Thursday evenings, and Saturday mornings, you get group coaching and mentorship through this entire experience. And this level of support is not seen anywhere else. And we do that so we can make sure that you're getting the support that you need. So this is Tayo, who, she talked about how that personalized coaching and mentorship was so important for her, that safe space to express and ask questions. And she is now a director of product at RBC, thanks to this program. So that is included. And that is definitely the big ticket item where you get that one-on-one mentorship and coaching, which most product managers never get. Even when you are in the job, you don't get the support. And speaking of support, since we're partnered with SAIT, you get SAIT's world-class career advising and their career hub. You get one-on-one support with a career specialist to help you find exactly the pathway and job that is perfect for you. And then you can show it off with a globally recognized credential. So once you've done this incredible work, employers, they can look for these credentials and they can look for that portfolio. And here are just some of the employers who we know are looking for this. They know the program and they're looking for our graduates. So that is all included. So this, if we were to sell it all individually, it'd be $17,000, but we want to make this accessible for everyone. So it's $3,750 for this incredible program that helps you get the job that you deserve. Okay, so we are in this to make product management more accessible. And this program is designed to have absolutely everything you need to make that happen, and none of that extra stuff that is useless. Okay, it's only the stuff that you need. So ask, would it be worth it if you finally land your product job? If you finally grow the confidence? What if you finally have that unique brand that will enhance your career forever? Is it worth it? Love to hear your thoughts in the chat if you think it's worth it to finally have these things. 100, yes. Yes, we want to see you in the class. Thank you, James, Arj, Dylan, thank you. And yeah, let's look at those comparisons. Product school, $7,000, the least expensive. Again, it's just a week of theory, no practice. UCLA is the only one other than MIT that has a higher rate. So our high rate is 72% within 6 months of graduating. UCLA is the closest we could see, and it's 34%. And we also don't screen people. These programs screen people. And a lot of the programs, maybe they report higher rates, but they're screening people. We don't screen people. If you want to learn, you learn with us. We don't shut you down. Okay, so that's 72% with no screening. And since you all are here and stuck to the end, and we know that you are serious and we're serious about helping you, we have a promotion to, yes, even if English is not your first language, the vast majority of our students. So that's the other thing that is special about our program. If all of our students have the same higher rates regardless of your background. So if you're a woman, if you're a newcomer to Canada, if your English is a second language, if you're part of the LGBTQ plus community, if you are, and if whatever background you have an equal chance of getting hired as anybody else. So that's what makes this program really different, because it's designed to give you what you need to land that job that you deserve. Yes, we are all so tired of dealing with hiring managers' conscious and unconscious bias. Oh, I hear you. Okay, so since you all are serious, this is all online too, by the way. Again, we want to reduce barriers and remove barriers as much as possible to getting this education. So it's all online, so you can join from anywhere across the world as long as you can make the time zone. That's the only hindrance. And so for you all, we're going to give an extra bonus if you sign up before September 5th and you send us the proof of registration. We're going to give you 2 free one-on-one coaching sessions with me or Krista and early access to the program. So that can help you really define exactly what you want in your career, where you want to go, what makes you special. We can talk about that in our sessions. Okay. So is it worth checking out? I know we said it's worth $17,000, but if it was like our hourly rates, would be very expensive. We try to make this as affordable for you. Like if we were to just deliver this, it would be $30,000. And we have it for much less than that for you all. Okay, so is it worth checking out? Because also know that there is a money back guarantee. If you join the first class on September 14th and you're like, no, this isn't for me, you can get that money back. Okay, we don't want you taking the program if it's not the absolute perfect fit for you. So again, here's what you'll get. This is the full program. Also, if you register before September 5th, you get the 2 free coaching sessions and early access to the curriculum. Please, we would love to have you. And here we are. And amazing. And oh yes, so there is also bursaries if you go early and ask for them. Every cohort, we have some funding available for folks who need funding. So I know we've used some of it already, but please reach out. And there is a January session as well. Yeah, so time structure of the program. So it starts September 14th and runs until I think December 8th. And it's Tuesday, Thursday evenings from 6 to 8 Mountain Time, and then Saturday mornings from 9 to 12. So that's every week. You record sessions. Yeah, if there's some sessions that you have to miss, that's okay. We record them. And we understand people have their lives, and we just expect that people are able to catch up. And we've had tons of people make it work. Yeah. What other questions do y'all have?
I have a question, and I figured it will just be easy if I talk, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
So I've spoken to a few product managers here in Vancouver, and I've been to a few sessions at places like BrainStation. And the one thing I have noticed about people going into product management is that they already come with a wealth of experience in another field. So someone like myself, I come from a management consulting background, but I only have like between 1 to 2 years experience. Someone who doesn't have a lot of experience to fall back on, like, do you think that there is a way to break in there while you're competing with all of the other like CS graduates who have been coding since they were 12, you know?
Oh, yes, absolutely, absolutely. When we look, you every product management is so varied. So there's always a role that would work for you. And having a computer science background isn't necessarily a benefit. Lots of times we find people who have computer science backgrounds have a hard time staying out of the doing and building the thing and focusing on the who, what, and why of the problem. So, and you get that experience in the course. So it absolutely, absolutely. And it just might look a little different. Like, so for some folks who maybe have a bit less experience, maybe they start in a project management role and then they transition into product management, or maybe they start in a CS role and transition. So that's what we've seen some folks do. But we see um, most people uh, are able to find the role that really fits for them. Yeah. And I see a question around Join CoLab. Yes, we have heard of them. So they're one of the only programs out there that is similar, and they actually give you like applied experience. The main difference between our program and theirs is ours is more comprehensive. So there's more mentorship and coaching time, and we also they use projects that you've defined, where we find projects for you from a real company. So that whole like first job that you get your first job here with a real company, where they focus more on creating your own product, and you're leading that, where we do that in the first 6 weeks, and then in the second 6 weeks you're working with a company and getting that real hands-on experience. Yeah, but they're another really cool program that we haven't seen a lot of applied programs like this. Yes, there is financial aid. Yes.
Hey, hi. I had a question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, even though I've been working in the product role for the past few years, but then I'm pretty new to Canada. So I know my friends in US and everywhere, like in US, the scope of work available for the product role is very vast. Like you can literally work in like any company, like the amount of opportunities, job opportunities up there in US. So comparing that, like how vast are the opportunities of a product role in Canada? Because most of them are really, really restricted to only a few places like Toronto, Vancouver, Calgary. So, considering all this thing, like how vast is the opportunity up here?
It is quite vast. So we are actually funded by Alberta Innovates,
Yeah.
which identified a gap in our skills in Canada, especially Alberta, around product management, and we need more product managers. So there's definitely roles here. There's not as many as there was, say, before this downturn started, but again, we saw a much smaller decrease in roles than in the US, for example, because we're a bit more mature and our companies are still growing. Whereas in the US, a lot of their products are very mature. So they don't need as
Okay.
many people to manage them. So it's absolutely possible to find the type of job you want. We also find that since it is a little bit less mature of a tech
Hmm.
ecosystem, we sometimes
Yeah.
see product management roles just called differently. So reading the descriptions is really important.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Because a lot of them I see like they write like product analyst, product manager, but it sounds more like an analytical or like a project manager role when you read the jobs and responsibilities. So it kind of a lot varies, depending upon what they mention, what type of people they want versus the role they have put into place.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. So yeah,
thanks.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and if you're notice a lot of role styles, product manager, but being projects as process this program manager role, traditional managers, yeah, but they're all really moving towards product management. Product management was listed as a skill that is desired in 1 out of 8 new job postings on Indeed. So even if you don't land exactly a product job, this skill is
Hmm.
highly sought after. Yeah. Yeah. All right, folks. Any other questions or comments, thoughts?
I had one question.
Sure.
More about like the PM side. How would you say the work-life balance is being a product manager?
Oh, depends what you make it. If you're in a startup, it might not be great. If you're an enterprise, it can be really, really good. So, good thing about being product management is we don't have to be up fixing bugs. It can be a pretty 9 to 5 job. Yeah. So which companies bootcamp grads end up with? So tons of different companies. We've ended up in, yeah, like Spotify, State, RBC, FinTech. FinTech's really big, legal tech. We see it's mostly tech, but a lot of traditional industries as well. Yeah, so all over.
Hi there, may I ask a question?
Yes.
Hi, Renee. Well, first of all, thank you for a very informative presentation. I have 2 questions. Do you organize networking events and
Yes.
kind of pair your students with potential employers even after completing the course?
Yes, absolutely. So one thing is we have a big demo at the end where we invite industry partners. We also connect you with our different like careers in technology innovation, Toast, huge networking communities. And once you are with us, you're with us forever, and you can contact your state career services person even after the program.
Oh, thanks. And would you say that there are options in Calgary, because I'm planning to kind of explore the options in Calgary for remote or hybrid work, or you absolutely have to go to the office every day?
No, you absolutely do not have to go to the office every day. So it just depends, yeah, what roles. We had a student just get a job, a remote job.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's all over. Yeah.
Do you have any statistics on where do your graduates, in which industries do they mostly end up, in enterprises or in startups?
All of the above. All the above. So anywhere from startup to enterprise. So yeah, ATB, RBC, TD, Deloitte, all the way to like a bunch of like new startups, all the way to like mid-sized companies as well. It's really the experience you want to make of it. So you can decide what company you're most interested in, and this program will help you get a job at any of those companies.
Thank you.
Ah, you're very welcome.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Yeah, so apart from this course, the one which you guys are offering, is there any like a one-to-one session which someone can buy, or do you provide just in case you need some help or guidance, maybe even because there might be few who won't be able to attend this course at this point of time, maybe later, but would still like to get on a one-on-one with some of the mentors. So is there something which you do?
Absolutely. So we do product coaching where you're able to work with us, and we do coaching packages. So we would happily
Okay,
connect with you about that.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we'd love to. And sorry, who said that? I didn't catch who.
This is Sagar. I joined late.
Oh,
Yeah, so,
great.
sorry. Yeah, I joined late.
Yeah,
Sorry, I had a meeting, so I joined in between. Yeah,
great. Well, welcome. Yeah, we can absolutely help with that.
yeah, definitely.
Amazing. Well, Thank you so much, folks. And thank you for staying on a bit after so we could answer some of your questions. It's just been wonderful to meet you all.